Guys, it's week 13, 14, 27. We're not totally sure. It has been a rough 6 weeks. The Hawks are 8-4, and there's a lot of questions arising, least of which to be the offensive scheme play calling. And we do dissect it all. Chester's here tonight, and he's pretty upset. Wouldn't even wear his toque. Here we go. Game on. Carl, I don't know why you made me do this. I don't want to be here.
Denny, even after bad losses, you gotta get it off your chest.
Fucking sweatpants. I have a 3/4 full glass of scotch. This is my feeling right now. This is how I feel. Mm-hmm. I don't know what to think. I don't know if I should start crying and start planning for 2021 season, or I don't know if this is a small hiccup that just happens. And I haven't figured it out yet. I've pondered a lot. Chester has no fucking idea what happened. Look at, he threw his toque on. I put his toque on him. He threw it away.
Jeez.
I don't know what to think. I have some comments, and if anyone in the head office of the Seahawks is open to my suggestions, I'd be happy to share them. But at this point, I am confused is a good word. Although I will tell you that seeing the Steelers lose last night made me feel slightly better. Slightly.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I'd rather be 11-1 than 8-4. So
true that. That was a tough game against Washington and Steelers. That was a weird one. But yeah, the Giants,
I will say that the Giants have definitely been playing better in the last few weeks than the beginning of the year. What did they start, like 1-97?
I think 1-4, 1-5 even, maybe. Yeah, it was bad.
More. Haven't they won like 3 or 4 in a row?
Dude, they're like the fucking number
now
one
they're 5-7, I think. 5-7.
They're 5-7. Both the Washington and them are 5-7.
But they started like 1-5, maybe.
I think it was 1-5. Yeah.
But this podcast is not a podcast to give the credit to the New York Giants. It's to talk about how we fix the Seattle Seahawks. And I think the first step is something I've been preaching for a long time, that we need a new offensive coordinator. Like, there is no reason why things are happening on offense that are happening, Carl. It makes no goddamn sense. Like, early in the game, 4th and 1, they choose to go for it. Great. I'm all for it. I'm 100% pumped. If they run a fucking good play and they get stopped, I'm totally okay with it. The decision, I'm okay moving backwards. Defense out on the field, no problem. Defense has been playing much better the last couple of weeks.
I
but
agree.
What I'm not okay with is running some bullshit fucking circus fucking play and having it stop for a 74-yard loss. Like, what is happening? Why are we running a fucking receiver reverse on 4th and 1? It makes no goddamn sense.
For some reason, Schottenheimer likes to run these plays where it takes 6 to 7 seconds for it to develop and for anything to get going on something that should be so simple. I don't know why. It's like he's overthinking every single thing.
The options on 4th and 1, in my opinion, are down the middle with Chris Carson, or you run plays off of that, right? Because that is what should be run. Run play action with a quick little out to Disley or whoever's playing tight end this play. Have like Metcalf run a quick slant off this play action. Have Lockett as like the third option on the weak side slot, coming across the field at 2 yards. He's faster than people. He's going to beat people. If Russell Wilson has to check down, that's going to be open.
He's got options.
I don't understand. Running a wide receiver reverse on 4th and 1 is literally one of the last fucking options I would pick out of 150. You give me 150 options, Carl, that's bottom 3.
Of course. Why would you run a trick play and with something you need so bad? I don't know. That was a tough 25 straight scoreless minutes to watch.
Man, it's just atrocious. Like, having the offense that we have. So we've had a first half this year that had 0 points against the Minnesota Vikings, I believe.
Yes. Yep.
And now we've had an offense that scored 5 points against the New York Giants in the first half. 12 in the whole game. 12 points, Carl. We have
unbelievable.
who I'm really starting to doubt as one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. A guy that has had some brilliance and has also like. I'm really confused about Russell Wilson, and I really need some sort of like bring me back down to earth kind of shit. Like, help me out here. What is happening? The last 6 weeks, Russell Wilson has looked like, I don't know, fucking Flacco, like a mediocre 15th ranked in the league quarterback, like
His
making
body
a lot of mistakes. Not seeing the field, and every time he drops back, he looks rushed, like he's like shaking.
Every time, yeah. Everything is rushed. Everything is forced. I don't like. He's missing a lot of plays. He's missing a lot of checkdowns. I think he's looking for the deep ball, and I think he's forcing it a bit too much. And with our like offensive lines and these plays that Schottenheimer's calling, it's taking so long for anything to develop. We're not running enough slant plays, enough like simple outs, and like you said, play action plays like that. I think just simplifying the game would make such a big difference. But like Russell Wilson, even like after the game interviews and stuff, like is he sick or something? But his body language, it just doesn't look like, you know, our Russell Wilson like the first 7 weeks. He's like sweating, like wiping his nose and stuff in the post-game interview. Like, I'm not sure what's going on there.
I do have something to say about those interviews, and if you want to get into it now, might as well. I hate how fucking, so like, you know me. Yes. Anyone who listens to this podcast or any podcast, you know that political correctness and I are the polar opposites. Like, when someone comes in and I ask them a question about anything, and they give me a politically correct answer, my immediate thought is, I need to get myself away from this human being as quickly as possible, or I'm going to kill them or myself.
You just completely check out. Yep.
I can't stand it. Russell Wilson's fucking garbage in the interviews recently is just like, I can't even listen to it. I used to listen to post-game stuff just to like hear what is going through their head when they're calling plays. Like Pete Carroll's stuff when he's punting on 4th and 1 inch. Right. Like, why is that happening on the opponent's 47-yard line? I don't get it. So I'm interested in hearing what their perspectives are. But like, here, I'm trying to think of exactly what he said. I think I wrote it down.
But you've noticed a difference, eh?
Oh, this is his fucking bullshit. Okay, so what I want, this is what, as a fan, as a ex not good athlete, as an ex somewhat borderline athletic white kid, this is what I want. I want someone to take responsibility. I want someone to say, like Russell Wilson, for example. Let's say in the world, Carl, in the entire world right now, 8 billion people, what is he? Top 25, 30 athletes in the world?
Probably is up there.
Right? Like, who's up there?
And like from all over the world?
Currently, today. Like Usain Bolt, probably out of his prime.
Yeah, he's slowing down for sure.
Patrick Mahomes, definitely. Probably top 5. Who else is there? Like, who like, anyway, should we agree on top 25?
Sure, let's do it.
Sure. Like, and when, not pure athleticism, I'm talking like athlete who
IQ,
dominates his sport or her sport, in their position, all that stuff. Athleticism, speed, intellect obviously comes into it. He's really good. But he gives you these garbage fucking answers, Carl, and I want to throw my TV off the balcony. This is what he said. So he said, someone asked him, one of the reporters asked him, why it seemed like, you know, you just couldn't get into a rhythm on offense. What happened? Like, what's happened in the last few games rather than the first 7? And his response was, you know, each game has a story. They did some good things in coverage, and the story didn't go our way.
Just the safest, most generic answer.
The fuck is that,
man? It's not even
man?
real. Yeah.
This is what, like, as a professional, as someone who's a professional athlete, I want to watch you and listen to you take credit, like take accountability. Be like, look, man, you know what? We fucked up. We've looked garbage the last few weeks. We have some of the best talented people in the league on offense, and we should be scoring 35 to 40 points a game every game, regardless of who we're playing, like the first 6 games this year. And we just haven't come to play. It's a problem that we want to fix. We think we can fix. And the guys in the room believe each other. We really feel like this is a top 3 offense in the league, and we just haven't performed. It's on me. You're going to see better next week. I don't want this fucking cartoon bullshit story garbage. What is this?
It's not real,
man. I can't.
But like, why do they do
it.
this? Why do you think they keep it so simple?
I think we have the worst offensive coordinator in NFL history. I've gone above and beyond from worst in the league because that is a fact.
Yeah,
there's no fucking debating this shit. Like, put anyone in there, man. Put the fucking seagull who fucking flies out of the tunnel at the beginning of the game. Put them in the fucking booth upstairs calling plays. Like, whichever fucking play he pecks on, that's the one we're going to run. That would be a better offensive strategy than what is happening right now.
Because I guarantee you he's not pecking. Is that what you used? Pecking?
Pecking,
the wide receiver reverse on 4th and 1.
Jesus, fuck. It'd be a 1 in a million.
Oh, 1 in a million, yeah. That's somewhere down way in the corner of the playbook.
Man, I can't understand it.
So how much do you blame it on Schottenheimer, and how much do you think Russell Wilson is struggling as well? Because there must be some kind of communication back and forth between them, right? If plays aren't working, then do we adjust? Like,
this is what I think, though. I think a bad Russell Wilson put in the correct situations is still a superstar.
Okay.
Right? Like, he's never been in a good fucking situation, Carl. He's been on this team for 9 years, and the team doesn't give a fuck about him. Right?
No, they don't know.
They don't understand. Maybe, like, they say they understand, but they're not doing anything to make me as a Seahawks fan believe that they understand that this is one of the best football players on the planet. Right? Like, go out fucking swinging. Just be like, Russ, dude, it's the 4th quarter. We're down 7. We're not going to run the ball anymore because you're the best player on the field. Try to win the game. If we don't win, fuck it. But don't run these fucking bullshit circus plays. It's man, like I'm trying to understand. We purposely did not do this podcast on Monday night so that we could have another 24 hours to digest and really think about what we're doing with our lives, Carl. What are we doing with our lives? And what we are doing currently is not respecting how good Russell Wilson usually is. Put in the right situations, right?
For sure.
Like, I feel like if you just abandon the run game, just abandon it. Don't even have a running back in, have 3 wide receivers, a tight end, whatever. I feel like against most teams, they're going to score 27 to 34 points. It is hilarious for this offense to score 12 points.
12 points is unbelievable.
With a goddamn fucking safety. So the offense scored 10 points.
Right, gives a field goal and the safety in the first half. I don't know. So what, you think we go to running even less?
No, I don't. I think
just a better balance.
I think the answer is, I don't have the answer, but I will give some suggestions. 1, honestly, man, I say this every goddamn week. We would do better without an offensive coordinator.
Turn your helmet off, Russ.
This guy fucking sucks, man. I don't understand how. So, like, I think about, relate it to other careers. You do construction. If you hire someone who can't nail a fucking nail into a 2x4 or can't screw like one pipe into the other, they don't have a goddamn job.
Exactly.
Right? If you're a garbage man and you refuse to pick up the goddamn fucking trash cans and throw the garbage into the truck,
we have a problem.
You don't have a job anymore. It is what it is. There's a certain level of expectation to meet some sort of requirement of this job to continue to work at this job. The requirement for Brian Schottenheimer literally is to show up. I'm so over it, man. Like, I feel like, let's say I was borderline PC for the first 12 weeks of the year. It makes no fucking sense to me, man. Why? Let's say the fucking seagull. We're bringing back the seagull, Carl. Everyone wants to talk about the seagull. He's iconic in Seattle. Everyone knows about him. He's beautiful. He fucking flies out of the tunnel every week. If this guy decided one day to just nosedive straight into the ground, have a seizure, be like, fuck it, I'm not flying today. You know what they do? They get a new fucking bird. That's what they do. Schottenheimer's been fucking nosediving for 12 weeks, man. I don't understand. I watched the Kansas City Chiefs play this week, the last couple weeks actually, and the entire offensive scheme is built around this Kermit the Frog individual named Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
And he's a pretty goddamn good athlete, and he just creates shit, right?
And that's the thing. The coaches let him play to his strengths and just let him create, let him have fun out there. And then guys just feed off that energy, man. And it just makes your whole team click so much better.
You know, like, the more I think about it, the more I realize that Pete Carroll is a figurehead. You know, like in college football, like there's those dudes that have been around. Same as like the North Carolina coach at basketball. What's his name? Something Williams. Roy Williams.
Roy, yeah.
Yeah, he was around for what? He coached the team for 68, 69 years. Like from 23 to 108.
Minimum.
At the end, he wasn't the fucking scheming guy. He wasn't the guy like, he was just the figurehead that was there, right?
But he knows how to use the analytics and those guys that figure it out, right? And kind of complete the whole package.
Do you think that's like Carroll's downfall? Is he's so stuck in the ways, man. Like he can't adapt at all. He's like my dad. He's like the old white dude.
I think a little bit. I would love to be in a room with him, Schottenheimer, and Wilson, just talking about the offense and what's going on.
Man,
could you imagine what they would say?
No.
Who did like? How does that convo go?
I'd hit someone over the head with a baseball bat. Like honestly, because Russell Wilson's out there all fucking crazy storytelling. Like, you know what we should do, guys? We should just pray to God. Like, everything's just going to work out. It's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. You know, like, we're putting in the work. It's just, the results are going to come. Like, it's too methodical for me.
It's no
There has to be a point where the best athletes in the world, like fucking Michael Jordan, he'll fucking grab his coach by the collar and be like, you can go fuck yourself. You give me the ball now. I'm going to score. Right? It's not like, let's stick to the game plan,
No.
you know, let's run the triangle offense. When the fuck did Michael Jordan say that? Never. He said, oh, it's the fourth quarter now? Okay, I'm better than everyone else in the world. Fuck you. Give me the ball.
So what happens? Do we need a new head coach? Do we need just a whole new front office?
I'm not ready to give up yet. I, like, as a fairly optimistic person, I like to pick out some positives. And the positives that I'm taking away from the last few weeks where the offense has looked hilariously bad, like not even mediocre, pretty
Awful.
fucking bad. They just have zero, like in the first few games, let's say first 6 games of the year, they looked like it was a game show. Like,
it was a video game. Yeah.
Totally. They would just pick a play, throw it to whoever the hell they wanted, and they'd score what? What did they average for the first 6 games? Like 38 points a game?
So yeah, somewhere up there, mid-30s.
It was hilarious. It was fun to watch as a fan. The last 6 have been like the opposite, man. Like they just can't get in a rhythm. They can't get any momentum. They, like on 3rd and 4s, they're taking a 15-yard sack, or they're like taking a false start to push them to 3rd and 14. That just makes it like so difficult. Like how many plays in your playbook do you have to run on 3rd and 15 when the DBs are just sitting at 14 yards? Like,
And then you pick a running play.
Man, They pick the fucking double reverse pass, triple lateral bullshit.
I just don't understand because last year we were such a run-heavy team. Run the ball down the middle, right? And the pass comes after that. This year we've switched. Chris Carson leads the team in rushing with 429 yards. And we're going into week 14. We're not running the ball at all this year. I don't think we have a single game over 100 yards.
And how many games has he missed? He's missed 5 games?
5 games, yeah.
At least, maybe more.
But I feel like we don't really have an identity. We're kind of the in between right now.
Whose fault is that?
The coaches. And I think it's a little bit a part of everyone. I could see the players kind of affecting it, and then the coaches and what's going on all there. Who do you think?
So you look at like teams that have had brilliant pieces, right? Mm-hmm. Like look at teams that do not perform. It's always from the top, man. If you have a good leader, and Russell Wilson is partly to blame for this, I think. But like just the guy running the fucking offense has no idea what to do with the pieces that he has. Has no clue. Some of the shit that is happening out there, Carl, it's like 2nd and 9, and we're running a fucking toss play. A play that takes 6 or 7 seconds to get back to the line of scrimmage. Why is that a choice? You're you're forcing Russell Wilson to be an absolute superstar every week. Mm-hmm. The only way they're going to win games right now with what they're running right now is Russell Wilson has to throw 400 yards, 5 touchdowns a game. Like he did in the first 5 weeks. So maybe we got a little bit of a unrealistic picture of what this team is like because he was lights out.
Lights out.
Historic in the first 6 games of the year, right?
Yeah.
Like he had more touchdowns than anyone ever.
Did he tie the record
in the first 6 games of the year or something.
Yeah.
And their offense, I think, was like number 1 or 2 in scoring and 1 or 2 in yards. That's not sustainable. I understand that. Like teams will watch film and figure shit out like the New York fucking Giants did. And all they did, Carl, it wasn't a complex scheme. All they did was sit in zone. That's all they did. And they said, you can take 5 yards every fucking play.
Yes,
we just know you're not going to because your offensive coordinator is an idiot.
That's
right.
All
he's going to do, he's not going to observe what is happening on the other side of the ball. He's just going to say, I think we're going to run a deep play to Metcalf now. And there's 4 fucking guys guarding him because they're sitting in a 3 deep zone.
Yeah. The Seahawks are devastatingly bad at adjusting. I don't know why that. Well, I think we're kind of finding out why.
That fucking shit, like that old school mentality. It's old. It's all the old school shit, man. Maybe our coaching staff. What is it? Average age 77. They're too old. Like Pete Carroll. Like the mindset of we're just gonna stick to our game plan and let the other team try to beat us. That shit. Like congratulations, bro. It's not 1943. Unfortunately, teams are figuring you out, and it's been pretty apparent. Like we started 6-0, 5-0 or 6-0. I can't remember. Since then, 2-4.
When we 7-0 and then went 7-1.
Was it? No,
I think so.
That high? No. I don't think so. So you've lost 4 of the last 5. Because we're 8-4 right now.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Maybe 6-0, and then they're 2-4 in the last 6.
Wild.
So, okay, I think we've harped on Schottenheimer a lot. But I agree that Russell Wilson needs to have some accountability here. I think. I don't help me out in understanding what has changed in the last 6 weeks. So maybe I remember one of the games 2 or 3 games ago, maybe it was the LA game actually, whatever that was, 3 weeks ago, that he dropped back 29 times and got hit 16.
And knockdowns, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Knocked down, knocked down, not even hit. Knocked down 16 times. That is unbelievable, first of all.
Is there even a line? Like, what's happening right now? Crazy.
And it has to do something to you mentally. I don't know, like, at that level of athlete, if you're just like, fuck it. Especially with Russell Wilson. He's been hit 50% of the time for his entire career, right? Mm-hmm. He hasn't had a good offensive line for 5 years. Like, it's been atrocious. Like, one of the best or one of the worst offensive lines in the league.
Consistently the worst.
Right? This year, they've been a bit better in games. But this week, they were not good.
No.
He was getting pressured all the time, which...
All the time.
But at the same time, he's just not making good... He's not making good reads and then not making good throws.
No.
Like, he's not hitting people in the hands anymore. I don't know what the problem is, man. I can't figure it out. I don't know.
The thing, too, is, like, he gets rushed on so many plays, and, like, 2 out of the 3 receivers will still have their head turned upfield because they're still running their routes. And the one is just covered. And now he's left with no options, and he's forced to create with his legs, which hasn't been working out too well.
He's not that guy anymore.
No.
When you're 33, like, it's...
You slow down.
I don't see that being a winning formula in any...
No.
It's an add-on, right? It's like it's a fifth option.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Like, Patrick Mahomes is not rolling out of the pocket looking to rush for 15 yards like Lamar Jackson is.
No,
Lamar Jackson has proven, this guy predicted it, that Lamar Jackson is not going to be a winning quarterback in the NFL. He's not a guy that's going to win Super Bowls. Patrick Mahomes has the recipe to win Super Bowls because he has a great arm. He's super fucking smart. And he's also has that unique factor that most good quarterbacks in the NFL history do not have, of unbelievable athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
But he doesn't force the run ever, right? He'll create the lanes and all that with his passing first before he takes the run.
It's a last option.
Yeah.
And those are the guys I think that are really good. Like, look at the best quarterbacks in history. Let's say, like, in the last 25 years, who are the best quarterbacks in history in the last 25 years? Let's say, like, Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning, for sure.
Extremely unathletic. But if that guy had the athleticism of Patrick Mahomes, he would be the greatest of all time. Not even close, right?
Like Tom Brady, kind of the exact same style. You're
Tom
correct.
Brady the same. Tom Brady has 2 fucking wood legs. He can't bend his knees. He literally can't bend. Carl, could you imagine being one of the best NFL quarterbacks of all time and you can't bend your fucking knees?
Dude, you take like less than like 3,000 steps a game probably. It's insane.
The drop backs, like, that's got to be a full workout to get 3 steps back of the center.
Oh yeah, there's no way you can drop back every play.
Man. And then, like, Aaron Rodgers, who is, like, out of those 3, the best athlete by far. But still not a good runner.
Doesn't rely on it. He'll take it if it's there, but does not rely on it at all.
Man.
You're right.
I don't know. To me, that's not a super important part of the game. But, and the best quarterbacks in the history, the best quarterbacks are not, the guys that win games late in the game are not Lamar Jackson. Like, they're not the athletic quarterback that wants to run first and like, oh shit, I got to throw now? Fuck.
Yeah, exactly. That's not how the NFL works, man. Mm-mm. Like, look what happened this week with Cleveland and Houston. Like, Cleveland goes up, 3 or 4 touchdowns. Derrick Henry can't play the second half because he's not a receiving option.
And
he's your best offensive. The Titans, yeah. And he's the best offensive player. And it's just like, it's so weird. I don't know. That was a weird game too.
Where do we go from here?
Next week, Tom.
Hold on. Before we get there.
Yeah.
Dude, man, if the Jets get their first win of the week, I'm not joking, Carl. If the Jets get their first win of the week next week, first win of the year, I'll be like, yeah, fuck, it sucks, but like, I'm not surprised.
I think I'm with you. I know what you mean.
They almost beat the Raiders this week.
And the Raiders beat Kansas City.
They should have beat the Raiders this week, to be honest.
They should have a last second touchdown. Yeah,
man. What do you think of Russ? Like, so this is my opinion. My opinion is our offensive scheme sucks. It's so bad. I think Russell Wilson trumps that when he's playing superstar level, which he was in the first 6 weeks. But when he's not, like anyone who's played sports at any level, even if you like a high school football, basketball player, whatever, you have these moments when you're like in the zone, let's call them, and you just feel invincible, regardless of like what level you're playing. Like in basketball, you had those games. Even now, probably like when we're playing alumni tournament, you hit like three threes in a row. You're just like, fucking feed me the ball, man. I'm feeling, right? You just get in those zones. And Russ was in a zone for a month and a half.
Yeah.
And he's not in the zone anymore. He's second guessing reads. He's uncomfortable. He's not sensing pressure as well as he was before. And those are all like such small field things. And he's just, he's slightly off. And I believe that he's good enough to get it back by the end of the year. I just like, for whatever reason, it's been 6 weeks. Like usually with a guy like that, it's like 1 or 2 weeks and he like has a big game and then he's back to like confidence is back and all that shit.
So do you think the scheming and like the play calling, all that is kind of keeping him in that little negative bubble that he's in right now?
Think of a corporate ladder. This is how I think of it. I think there's a ceiling that people get to in certain corporate careers, and it's just like they can't get out. They're fucking punching the glass ceiling. They literally can just not move. And I feel like Russell Wilson is stuck in a fucking box right now because of how bad the scheme is. Like, why not? Like, let's say I'm Brian Schottenheimer. I look at my last 6 games. They've been hilariously garbage. Super bad. Like, I've fucking sucked. My superstar quarterback has sucked. My head coach has made bad decisions on 4th down. And I've made bad play calls on 4th down. Our offense is not scoring. What is my next move? This is how my brain works, is I pull Russell Wilson into my offense and be like, bro,
of course,
let's figure this out. I'm going to accept that I am not that good, right? Like you are the franchise human being. You tell me what you want to do. And if you don't give me any answers, I'm just going to give you the ball 55 times next week and you decide. I'm just taking myself out of it because I know I can't win football games because I've proven that I suck.
Maybe that's what Russ needs to kind of get him going again.
I don't get it, man.
It's tough. But if these plays keep getting called like this, then I don't know. I don't see the season lasting for much longer. It's a tough situation.
It's so shitty because I think they have the pieces to be real good.
Yeah, I agree.
Real good.
And they've made some moves to get better too.
Russ just signed a new 4-year deal, which is like obviously good. But I feel like they're almost going all in right now, like this year. Right? Like they traded 2 or 3 first-round picks for Jamal Adams.
Yeah.
I can't remember what they traded for Dunlap, but like they went out to get a pass rusher because that was the weakest part of our team. And he's been like exciting to watch. He's not a fucking superstar, but he like is a big step in the right direction. Man, it feels like the franchise is saying like, this is the year. You know what? The one fucking thing holding us back, Carl, is a shitty offensive coordinator. Can we trade him? Can we fucking trade him for a backup fucking punter? Like, just get rid of him. Are you allowed to trade coaches? Can we just send him out?
Just sign a wide receiver off your practice squad to call plays next week. I don't know.
I can't.
I just think it's a front office issue and they have to figure it out. The 3 of them, it's between Pete Carroll, Schottenheimer, and Wilson. But I mean, I don't know, like what if Wilson just doesn't care and he's just coasting? What if his whole mentality is kind of like the answers that he's given in these interviews? Then that's a big problem.
I would be really disappointed because, like, he's a guy from the beginning of even his collegiate career that was ruled out, right? He's 5'10".
Short.
You can't be an NFL quarterback at 5'10". And his mindset from the beginning and what he's shown on the field is, fuck you guys. I'm going to be the greatest of all time. Like, that's what it seems like what he thinks. And unless you win a shit ton of Super Bowls, you can't really be put in that category. But his first 9 years are, statistically wise, better than anyone else ever. Right? So, like, he hasn't won Super Bowls because I personally think the coaching staff isn't good. I like Pete Carroll as a leader, but I don't think he is an X and O guy. He's a rah-rah guy. He's a dude that, like, gets people to buy into the system. Like, he'll bring in a troubled athlete, you know?
Right, yeah.
Bring in a fucking Josh Gordon, and he'll high-five him 7 times, and Josh will be like, yeah, this fucking place is the best. Bring in Jamal Adams, who is, like, a phenomenal athlete, who's playing in arguably the worst sports franchise of all time in New York, in the Jets.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, they're so fucking bad. They've been so bad for a long time. They bring in that guy, and that guy is immediately bought into the system. He's like, dude, I love it here in Seattle. This is the best place in the world. You know, this culture is amazing. And that's due to Pete Carroll. And that's what I love about him. But Pete Carroll needs to understand he has like things, he has negative features as well. And his negative features are the actual art of football, right? He's not a good play caller. He's not a good scheme guy. He's too old school. He's a raw figurehead. And he needs to understand that. And he needs to put better people in the places to make actual football moves.
Especially
and Brian
like
Schottenheimer is not a fucking football move guy.
Especially with all the creativity we're seeing in the league. Like, look at some of the plays that Kansas City is running, right? The stuff that you've never seen. Mike Bell always talks about the head coach for the LA Rams and what he's doing. He loves him, right? Their play calls are so much well-rounded, and they're doing new things. They're trying new things. They're putting guys in positions to succeed. And I don't know. I feel like Seattle just thinks that they have this certain mentality, this certain look, and they have to stick to that. They just don't like to try new things. I don't know. It's that old school mentality, like you were saying. It comes back down to that.
Open-minded. You have to be open-minded.
You have to.
A football game is so crazy, right? You see so many momentum swings. You see the first quarter, we dominated, right? We dominated. We drove down the field on the first drive of the game, kicked an easy field goal. We're up 3-0. Drove the second drive of the game, 4th and 1, run a hilariously bad play call, and boom, like that, right? Momentum is completely shifted because of a terrible play call. It could have easily been 10-0 on that drive, and instead, it's 3-0 with all the momentum shifted to New York because they had a big defensive stand. Though, like, that shit does so much for a team, man.
Oh, it's everything.
It's so crazy, and like,
oh, Danny, I know.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm spot on with this analogy here. Like, Pete Carroll, rah-rah guy, gets people to buy into the culture, very high energy, very positive, great figurehead guy. We have no pieces underneath him in terms of the coaching staff. Like, athlete-wise,
we have them.
There's so many studs, man. Offensively, like, we've been saying this from the beginning of the year. Offensively, there's no reason why they shouldn't score 37 points a game. In the last 6 weeks, they had probably 4 or 5 games in a row that turnovers just crushed their soul, right?
Yeah.
Remember the game against Arizona? They scored 34 against Arizona with 4 turnovers. Like,
Turnover
eliminate
City.
2 of those turnovers, and they're at 47.
Yeah.
I don't know. It makes no goddamn sense to me how this group of athletes scores 10 points in a football game.
Yeah, 10 points and a safety. It's unbelievable. I hope the offense tries something new next game, figure something out. I don't know. I honestly don't know. When's Josh Gordon coming back?
They said he's reinstated for the last 2 weeks of the year.
So he's going to play? He's going to dress?
Again,
he's on Wednesday. Yeah.
I think the personnel is not even close to as important as them doing something different, right? Mm-hmm. Do something different. On the first play of the game, instead of running it for 2.7 yards, like everyone knows you've done for the last 47 years in Seattle, why not run a sweet fucking play action for Metcalf for a 97-yard fucking touchdown? Give it a shot.
That's how you start the game.
Why not do something different?
I don't know. I think they really need to.
Sure, we can talk
the Jets, man.
We can talk about individual guys, all right? Quentin Dunbar's coming back. He's been super mediocre. Put him in the fucking Schottenheimer category. We can talk about Gordon, who played 3 games last year and then just started smoking a fuck ton of weed, got kicked out again. It doesn't matter. I don't know. It doesn't matter. The defense has been playing better, which is exciting. Yes. And keeps us in ball games. Because if we played a decent fucking football team last Sunday, we would have got beaten 47-10. Mm-hmm. Maybe less. I don't know.
So your thing is, it's not an individual thing, eh? It's just the whole team chemistry, team system kind of thing.
The athletes on the team are good enough to be a Super Bowl contender, to make the NFC Championship. How the team is being run and how the athletes are working together sounds super fucking lame as shit, but it's not it's just not a winning formula at all. I don't understand, Carl. If my job, what I'm passionate about, my fucking career, how much does fucking Brian Schottenheimer get paid?
Oh,
$2 million a year? I don't know. I'm just taking a random stab. Maybe less. Maybe, let's say $750K. I don't know. What does he get paid?
All right, keep going. I'll figure it out.
What does an offensive coordinator get paid? Whatever. If that's my fucking job, and I really love football, I would have gone through these last 6 weeks and be like, I'm gonna fucking switch it up here. I'm gonna change something. I'm gonna be creative for once in my life. Do something different. It's not working, man. Look at your team. Let's say I have Patrick Mahomes as my quarterback. I'm the Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator. If I've gone 1 or 2 games in a row with us scoring less than 27 points, I'm thinking we fucked up.
Something's going on.
Right?
Yeah.
This guy's gone 6 weeks in a row and has done absolutely nothing different, and has in fact, Carl, write this fucking down, has got worse at the game of football.
Yeah, it's downhill. Mm-hmm.
Dude, get excited. Holy shit. I got Russell Wilson. This is a fucking gold mine. Also, we drafted this dude who looks like a fucking Lego character named Mini Megatron. And he's pretty fucking good at football. We don't even necessarily need to teach him how to run routes. We just need to get him to run in a direction. And then Russell Wilson, being very good at football, is just going to throw this little circular cubed ball in his direction. And just because he's bigger than the other boys, he's going to make a play. That's pretty cool for me as an offensive coordinator, that I have these crazy weapons instead of being like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to fool him here, Carl. It's 4th and 1. Oh baby. I'm going to try to rule the world. I'm going to run our 4th string receiver behind the quarterback, behind the running back, because no one is going to see him.
In the play,
we're going to give him the ball, and he's going to take 9 seconds to try to get to the line of scrimmage. And we're just going to hope that the really good athletes on the other side of the football aren't going to catch on. The fuck is that mindset, Carl?
It's crazy. That play call is unbelievable. I don't know. And
last week, remember last week? They went for it twice on 4th and 1.
Twice. And the exact same play.
And one of the plays, they did the exact same thing.
Right back to David Moore.
What are we doing?
That.
And this is my goddamn problem, is someone like Russell Wilson, who I believe is a good human, good athlete. Mm-hmm. He needs to be vocal.
Yeah.
Why is he allowing this person that is not good at what he does to call this shit garbage on 4th and 1? Mm-hmm. Russell should get this shit in his head and be like, fuck you. And be like, no fucking chance. I'm running the ball to our superstar running back, Chris Carson, who is averaging about 7.5 yards a carry today.
Yeah, dude, he's killing it, man.
Or me, as a guy who keeps telling everyone that I'm the MVP of the league, I'm just going to call fucking play action, or I'm going to run your stupid garbage play, Brian, and I'm going to fake handoff to David Moore because he's our 4th string running back. So really on offense, our like 8th or 9th best option.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep the ball. If I can run for 1.5 yards, great. If not, I'm going to throw it to this guy named DK that is just bigger than all the other kids. Mm-hmm. And so in a game of cannonball, he wins 80% of the time.
Russell needs to become a little bit of an asshole because like all those greats have that.
He doesn't have
like,
it.
You have to be able to call people out. Like, you know, you can get...
Aaron Rodgers has it. Tom Brady, although he's
kind of whiny, but he does it.
Dude, he's a fucking pansy. Let's be honest. He's such
Peyton
a pussy.
Manning has it. Yeah.
But he does become prick in the 4th quarter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Outside of the 4th quarter, he's one of the softest, like, pussies you've ever met.
Kids.
Yeah, it's weird. Just licking humans in the camera. Like, it's dumb. Yeah, man. I don't get it. I don't think it's something that we can taught to. Like, I don't think Russell Wilson can learn it. I don't know. It's weird because he does, historically, he performs really well in the 4th quarter, which is like the definition of the GOATs, right?
Yes.
Like, Michael Jordan could be 2 for 27 in the first 3.9 quarters. Mm-hmm. And with 8 seconds left, he's like, fuck you guys, I'm better than you on this score. Right?
It's the scariest fourth quarter.
All that I care about is I'm 1 for 1 in the last 3 seconds. Mm-hmm. I don't like... He has a lot of game-winning drives. He seems to perform well when the ball's in his hands late in games.
Yeah.
But he's not a prick. And I want you to be a prick, Russell. I want you to tell Brian that he can go back to his high school and help kids develop, because he's not good enough to coach you and Mr. DK.
Denny, I agree. I think that was a fantastic rant. Where do we go from here?
We hope to fucking God we don't lose to the Jets. That's where we go.
Should we even make predictions or what?
I'm going to predict 12-10 for the Seahawks next week.
How many safeties is that?
3 safeties and 2 field goals.
Could you fucking imagine? Oh my God. Well, we all know here that the Jets don't want to win, so hopefully that's on our side.
Colt McCoy has had, 2 starts in the last 8 years? I don't think he gives a shit about winning either.
Isn't he like 36, man?
Man. I don't know what to say, man. I think the Jets' goal for the last decade is just to try to get as many first-round picks as they can, like first draft picks as they can.
And then develop them from other teams. We've seen that quite a bit. Yeah.
Man, I'm lost. I don't know. Remember, like a few weeks ago, we're thinking like, hopefully this is a wake-up game.
Yeah.
where like someone in the locker room is just like, dude, we have unlimited athleticism and potential here. The NFC has no one that is trying to win the conference.
No.
We can be that guy. We can be those guys. Let's just do it. Instead, it's, you know, every game has a story. And they had some good things going on in coverage. And, you know, the story just didn't have the right ending for us today.
Well, it's time to grab the pen, Russ, and fucking finish it yourself.
Be a goddamn prick, Russell. Be a goddamn prick.
I agree.
Why not? Go back. I feel like he felt like he was being mean to the other kids in the first 6 weeks of the year, where he was like putting up 425 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Like, this is
And everyone was like, Russ, you're just annihilating defenses. He's like, oh, I don't want to be mean. Am I being mean? Sorry, guys. The fuck, man? You just signed a $40 million a year contract.
It's time to be
You know
mean.
what that $40 million means? That means you should punch dudes in the face 40 million times a year.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't be shaking hands and kissing fucking babies and trading your jersey with all those other garbage pricks on the other side. You should be annihilating them and making them wish that they never have to play Seattle ever again. Because it's going to be embarrassing. And the other team's quarterback is going to put up 500 and 4 or 5 touchdowns every game against you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be fucking shuddering in the pocket. What is this garbage, Carl? I'm so...
I don't know. His entire pocket, like movement in the pocket is different. His whole body language is different. I don't know what's going on. I know he's a newborn, the 3 months, but I don't think that's an excuse.
Moral of the story, kids. Never get married. Never have kids.
Yeah. If you hear that, Lucas? A little late. Oh, man.
All right. Do you want to predict next week? I don't know.
Fuck. I don't, like, what offense is going to show up? Do you think they're going to get over 30 points?
Do you think we have a line? No, I don't.
Is there a line, I wonder?
I'm going to look it up right now. Week 14. The Seahawks are minus 13. Dude, if you have any cash flow out there, if you have $8, if you have $800,000, you should put it immediately on the Jets right now with a minus 13.
This is not going to
Come on, man. What
It'll
the
be
fuck
10
are we
max.
talking about here?
That's a lot.
We just lost to the Giants, and the Jets almost beat the Raiders, who are a pretty solid football team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they put up 27, I think. Was it 30 to 27 they lost? It's not like they like lost like they put up some points. I don't know. I honestly, Carl, this is my prediction for next week.
13.
And I'm seeing that line. I'm really considering putting a hefty amount of money on the Jets. I honestly believe that the Seahawks are going to get to 9-4, and they're going to win a football game that is like stupid and annoying, and
it's going to be
yelling
one
at
of
the TV, and it'll be something like 23-18.
Okay.
How do you get 18? I'm not sure, but it's going to happen.
I don't know.
It's going to happen. They're going to miss an extra point because they suck. They're going
Punt
to
to
kick
the
like
end
2
zone
field
for a point or
goals.
something. Oh, that's CFL. My bad. I'm going to go 27-17, Denny.
You think 10?
I think 10.
You think we can score 27 right now? They look so bad.
So bad. But then they come out and they look so good, dude. Flip a coin. I don't know. I think flip a coin at this point. We haven't dropped 30 points since we lost to the Bills 5 weeks ago.
Was that the game that I thought it was Arizona that they scored like 34 and turned over 4 times?
It was the
or
first
something?
Arizona game we lost in overtime. It was 37-34.
And they turned it over like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. Like, we are not good enough to turn the ball over.
No.
If we turn the ball over 2 times in a game, automatic loss.
Keep the defense off.
All right. Well,
Cool.
for my sanity, I'm not happy with that we did this podcast, but it was nice to vent. I do feel slightly better, but I also feel worse based on all the things that were popping into my head as I was saying them.
The problem is if you see all these exact same things this week, it's just going to amplify and make it even worse. So let's hope for some changes.
I can't remember a more up and down season for the Seahawks. Like,
Yeah.
either we're shit and we're just battling to try to be like 7-9 and make the playoffs, or there's like absolute brilliance, like 2013-14, where like every game I'm just going in assuming that we're going to beat the fuck out of the other team. And this year, I literally have no idea what to expect. I have no clue. Right? Like going into the Eagles game last week, I bet my friend Nav, such a beautiful human being. I love Nav. He messages me last week. Did I tell you this? He messaged me saying, hey, do you want to make a bet on the Seahawks-Eagles game? 2 weeks ago, before the Giants game. And I said, sure. How many points do you want? He's like, I don't want points. I'm like, are you sure? He's like, no. Let's just, whatever. Let's go straight up. Case of beer, bet, Eagles, Seahawks, go. I'm like, I look at the spread on my phone. The spread was 6.5. I'm like, I'll give you 3 points. Just, I want it to be a fun game. He's like, no, I don't want them. I'm like, all right. But in the back of my head, I'm like, fuck, I don't know if this is actually a good bet. Like,
You second guessing yourself?
like if we win by 1 or 2, I would not be surprised at all.
No, not at all. Yeah. Just the inconsistencies on both sides.
We're playing the worst team in the league. Probably bottom 10
Worst
teams of all time. Like, remember the Brown season that went 0-16? Like,
So
it feels like that, doesn't it? It just feels like even if they have moments of brilliance, they're just going to lose anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Like last week.
Oh, yeah. You might see a couple quarters, but they're not pulling through.
I'm
hoping.
going to say it right now. I would not be surprised if we lose next week. If we lose by 1. Like, the
heard it
Jets
here,
just
folks.
have a ridiculous, stupid turnover at the end of the game. Like, it hits, I don't know. Fucking, they run a reverse pass, 17 lateral bullshit to David Moore. He comes around the outside, hits him in the helmet, pops up in the air, someone grabs it, and they kick a field goal with 1 second left, and we lose 22-21. You ever heard me this down before, Carl?
No, Denny. I hope you have a good week, buddy.
I thank
The one
God
thing-
every day
yeah.
that I have something outside of Seahawks football in my life. Because if I
look forward
didn't,
to.
it would be rough, man.
These would be dark days.
Really rough. I texted my mom today, told her I loved her, asked her if she loved me. If she replied no, it might have been the end, man.
That's it for Seahawks Social. The one thing I do like is the football every day. I like it.
It's so fucking strange. Like
It's
this game
so
tonight.
good.
Who won tonight? The Ravens crushed them, right?
Crush the Cowboys. No defense.
Another sad franchise right now. It is weird. Like everything just There's a Wednesday game last week, Tuesday this week.
Yeah.
The Steelers. So this is something I can't remember who I was chatting with yesterday. I was saying I felt better because the Steelers lost, and so that was the first loss of the year to like a pretty shitty Washington team.
Mediocre. Yeah.
So I felt a little bit better that we lost to the Giants. And then they mentioned, they're like, weren't the Steelers on like a really short week? And I was like, no, really? And then I look at the schedule and the Steelers played on Wednesday.
I know.
And then Monday. I'm like, oh, fuck, that makes me feel worse. Why'd you have to
tough,
say
eh?
that?
Yeah, that's tough.
So like, if
Dude.
there's any game they're going to lose, it's going to be on like a 4-day week. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't know. Washington's in first place with the Giants now in the NFC East, so let's go.
Man, that division is heating up hard, Carl. Remember, we were talking about the biggest joke in NFL history, this division. It is the most surprisingly entertaining division in football right now.
It is, because now the Eagles and the Cowboys have fallen behind.
Yeah. Like, let's look in the AFC. KC wins their division easily.
Easy.
Steelers win easy
Easy.
because Baltimore is atrocious. Who else is good in the NFC or AFC?
Titans.
The Bills are 9-3.
Yeah, Bills are 9-3.
Bills, watch over the Bills.
The Dolphins are 8-4.
Aren't the
dude.
Browns 9-3?
The Browns are 9-3. Yeah.
Talk about a fucking TSN turning point here. Eh? Jesus. And then we look at the NFC and no one cares anymore. Like literally everyone is not trying. Except, I'm surprised about this, the Saints.
They just
Good for
keep
you
winning
guys.
somehow. Who needs
You
a
know why?
quarterback?
Because they have a coach that is adaptable, Carl. And he sees that, oh, we don't have our superstar quarterback anymore. Top 10 quarterbacks of all time, maybe, in terms of passing.
We're now playing
He's
with
injured.
a quarterback that
So-
hasn't thrown a touchdown.
Let's do something a little different.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant idea. Hey, Brian, why don't you fucking call whatever his name is, Mr. Cheater over there? Didn't he get suspended for like 2 years because he's,
For the Saints?
yeah, he's
He's
cheating.
winning games, man. Doesn't matter.
That's a great point. If anything is the moral of the story of tonight's podcast, it is all we give a shit about is winning.
That W.
We don't care. Pete, put a camera in the other team's locker room, steal their play sheet,
Absolutely.
steal Andy Reid's face shield so he can't see a goddamn thing,
That's a fine right there.
and he gets fined. We don't care. Just win the football game. And fire Brian Schottenheimer, please. He sucks at his job. Anyone could do better. Pete, you could do better. We've mentioned a couple times tonight, but the fuck